What is up, Philly? And welcome back to another episode of the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast presented to you by Hungry Dog Sportsbook. We will definitely be updating that soon. We promise this time. We're getting there. But I got on the mic with me my boy Ethan John. How you doing today, Ethan John?
Right, we are doing pretty good. We have a lot. I think. Let me see. I compared. I think we have like the most news like in
This
a
is our most
while.
packed show yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
pretty fun. I don't know how long this will be. Might split it up, but hope you enjoy
We
it.
will see. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
going to be great. So our headline of the week, Aaron Rodgers came out with his first comments after the Green Bay Packers selected Jordan Love with the 24th pick in the NFL draft, saying maybe it isn't feasible for him to finish his career in Green Bay despite being there for what's it been? 10 years now?
Yeah, I think it's 10-ish years. I think it was drafted in 2009. Let me just check that. He was drafted in. Whoa, he's been there for a while.
Yup.
He's been there since 2005.
The veteran out of Cal saying that maybe it's not feasible after the Packers selected Love, who was a controversial prospect out of college.
Yeah.
With that pick, what do we think about this, Ethan John, and what the
mean,
Packers are doing?
If they do it's the same sort of thing that they did with Brett Favre and just have him sit there for a few years, I think he can end his career there. But if they want to do a a Daniel Jones and just throw him into the fire, then he has definitely a reason to leave.
But Aaron Rodgers isn't Eli Manning. I think you got to think about that too.
He at his age, he is infinitely better than Eli Manning. But I think they want to get younger, so I wouldn't be surprised if they move on from him closer to what I think Aaron Rodgers would think, and then he has definitely a right to just ditch him, honestly.
I mean, I'm higher on what Aaron Rodgers did last season, I think, than a lot of people. Aaron Rodgers kind of changed his game in a way. He became more of a game manager, and I think that led to a decrease in the statistics. But I think as he gets older, I think if he can continue to do that on the regular, I think that is a consistent quarterback that can play, to a Tom Brady-like age in the NFL.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just think you're messing with that by creating that rift by drafting Love, who I don't love as a prospect, to be honest.
Yeah, I was pretty mixed on him. I don't know. I mean, I know he has the arm, but I don't know if that could convert on the NFL level.
Like Eason better, honestly. I did. And it's crazy to me that he would go that high when, I mean, again, I'm higher on Aaron Rodgers than most, but still. So, for me, not a great decision by that Packers organization, and ultimately, I think it will cost them in the future because, I mean, you look at, he needs weapons now. What's he got? Devante Adams? That's it.
He's got Adams, Aaron Jones, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Are we gonna call Marquez Valdez-Scantling a weapon?
He is not.
No offense to Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
He's probably a cool guy.
Yeah,
come on the show if he wants.
Yes,
but
please come. But he is not a legitimate weapon for this.
He's not a number 2 on a team that made the NFC Championship.
Yo. And you haven't, I mean, I saw a statistic the other night. Since 2009, it's been defensive players in this draft that the Packers have drafted, which, that's great because their defense is definitely substantially better, which is going to help him get off the field. But still, I mean, if you're not surrounding your franchise quarterback who's been there for 12 years and is a lock for the Hall of Fame with weapons, I don't know what to say.
All right, so this is probably out of all our headlines, it's probably the most recent news. The Eagles have announced that Andre Dillard is their guy at left tackle, which is kind of surprising to me, honestly, considering that they were in some conversation with Jason Peters, and I honestly thought there was a decent chance they would have brought him back, but
I did too.
Seems like they're sticking with their first round pick, and I mean, I think he definitely deserves getting some time. I think they need to develop him if they think that he's gonna blossom into something. I don't. I know when they drafted him like last year, I was kind of mad. Like I thought we had some bigger needs.
Really?
But
You were mad?
I mean, I was. It's like with. It's not. It wasn't like a sexy pick like I would have expected, but you know.
Really? I loved him out of college. I thought that was a great pick. I thought he had the lowest floor. He was the biggest like boomer bust prospect as far as offensive lineman in that draft. Yeah. And I thought Howie took a shot, and I liked them trading up for him because, I mean, you know, Howie had played it conservative. I wrote an article on this. He's played it conservative for a long time now, so I thought taking a risk like that in that draft was good. Yeah. And I know he had a bad game against Seattle. I know he got torn up. But you also got to remember, he shut down Khalil Mack against Chicago.
Crazy.
Which is huge.
For a rookie against probably a top 3
definitely.
Defensive lineman in general, like in the league.
We all remember Brian Beluga, who is a great lineman, got ripped up by Khalil Mack 2 years ago in Green Bay to the point where Aaron Rodgers was limping off the field.
Yeah.
So for Dillard to stop him, I think that was great. I don't love what I saw at Seattle game, but I think there's potential there. I like the move. I like not getting 40-year-old Jason Peters on the field. I think that is absolutely
I think
fantastic.
I think that it's a good sign because the penalties are definitely a big problem last year.
Oh yeah,
for like the offensive just pace in general,
and they have been. I mean, I love JP. Don't get me wrong,
of course.
But since he got hurt that Super Bowl season, he was not the same. Yeah. He was not the same player. He didn't have the same explosiveness almost. He just looked tired on the field. I mean, I still remember that Tampa Bay game, week 2. He was taken in and out of that game 3 times.
Yeah.
I remember that very clearly. That's the year after the Super Bowl. And so I like the move. They're getting younger. I think it's a promising sign for the future of this Philadelphia Eagles team.
And I also think it's not really something we think about, but the D lines of like the division has gotten like so much better.
Oh yeah.
Because I guess Lane Johnson would cover like Chase Young and Tank Lawrence, but there's still like Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence, those kind of guys too.
And you still got to worry about. I mean, like, just the Cowboys. We talked about it last episode. You still have Gerald McCoy there. You do have Tank. Like, their D-line is probably still top 10 in the NFL.
It's still solid, even though they lost Robert Quinn. But it's respectable.
And Washington, I mean, they still have Kerrigan.
Yeah.
Who has torn us up before.
Yeah, for a while. And like Deron Payne, right? They got him in the first round a couple years ago.
So, I mean, that is definitely... If he can develop, again, he's a huge boomer bust, but if he can develop, I think that's definitely a huge win for Howie, and I think, definitely a huge move for this team.
Yeah, okay. So, we've been pretty positive about what's going on so far, and we're talking about probably the going on in sports, which is...
Pretty positive. You hear what he talked about in Aaron Rodgers?
His situation is up to him, but I mean... the Packers aren't doing a great job with it. Yeah. So, okay. Well, anyways, the Rams went from having, in my opinion, probably the best branding in the probably at least top 3 branding in the league as far as jerseys and logos, and just threw it out the door when they're moving into SoFi Stadium. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't think.
Is it called SoFi Stadium?
It's called SoFi Stadium.
Oh my God. That is disgusting.
Yeah, it looks like the stadium is shaped like their old logo, like a giant ram, and then it's not like it's like their old logo, not like that disgusting like LA
arch.
Yeah. Well, so let's just talk about them. So I think the helmet is actually pretty decent.
I think it's fine. What's his name? Jalen Ramsey was on the IG Live.
Yeah.
And when they showed it off to him, he went nuts. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think it looks good.
I think as terrible as the logo is, I think the horns translated really well.
Yeah, I think it looks fine as far as the helmets.
Yeah.
I mean, but
yeah, and the rest of the jersey is a different conversation.
It's disgusting. That cream. Is it even a cream color?
It's called they call it bone.
They call it bone. Okay.
Bone. It's supposed to be like an actual ram horn, which is just so stupid.
And you have little name tags on the jerseys.
Yeah, you have it's so I know for the away the bone as they call it, it's it's an off-white creamish, but the Los Angeles Rams thing on their chest is on their
it's like a
upper,
white.
Yeah, it's a completely different color. It's it looks
gross.
It looks like a name tag. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. And then the blue jerseys just look like XFL jerseys. Yeah,
they
just look unprofessional.
The font is just so amateur and yeah, it looks like something you could make in Madden. It's insane.
Exactly. May I dare say the Chargers own LA?
Yeah.
May I dare say that just because of the jerseys?
Yeah, they own the league in jerseys, but their team is just in a bad spot.
Yeah.
So are the Rams, but I think the Rams are going to be better than the Chargers this year.
Yeah, I still think I have them going 7-9, and I have the Chargers going 5-11.
Yeah. So and also the most aggravating thing about these is the Falcons-esque gradient on the numbers, which is just so unbelievable. So
should we rank? I think we should rank the jerseys. I think we should rank the new jerseys right now.
So let me just pull them all up just to make sure that I.
Do you want me to go first? Because I have them in my head.
Yeah.
So number 1's the Chargers, obviously.
Yeah, I think they're fantastic.
These things are just fire. That bright blue, it's so vibrant. It looks great. Yeah. Number 2, I actually got the Bucks.
Yeah,
I like these.
Yeah.
They're kind of throwbacky.
Yeah, they're pretty derivative of the 2000s.
Yeah, which I like. I mean, you got Chucky, you got John Gruden. That's cool.
I like the pewter color rush too. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
And then number 3, I got Cleveland.
Yeah, I think
it's simple, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I think the those unnecessary Cleveland Browns and the whole sort of style was just so corny. It felt so 2010s.
It feels so overhyped for what it actually is. I mean,
I feel like in 10 years it's gonna look so unbelievably
corny. Yeah. And then number 4, I got the Falcons because those are just disgusting. I mean, they just look cartoonish. It's so unprofessional. Them and the Rams just both so unprofessional. And the Rams are last because these are just terrifyingly awful.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say the Pats because that's just so minimal. But it's just.
I forgot about the Pats. My god!
I wouldn't even consider them a change.
I would put them 4th. I would put them above the Falcons.
Yeah,
the Falcons.
There's not much of a difference, and
nah.
If you really want to say that the Colts number change is anything,
the Colts are not. No.
Yeah, it is absolutely insignificant.
Didn't they change their logo though too?
They kept the C, but they made an alternate. They kept the shoehorn, but the alternate is like a C in the shape of Indiana, which is sure.
That is
do whatever you want.
Strange.
Good for you. Okay, so we got some news. I mean, I was listening to the Pat McAfee podcast not too long ago.
Oh yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah.
I call him the LeBron of podcasting.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, they talked about LeBron and how I think he was on an IG Live or something, and he said that during the 2011 NBA lockout, Jerry Jones hit him up with a contract and maybe to play tight end with Jason Witten. And I mean, some people are saying that he's just saying that because of the whole Last Dance, Jordan Barron.
He's got the build.
Yeah, I mean, he did
Right now,
play.
he didn't then.
I know he played in high school, but like,
yeah. Right, LeBron has put on muscle over the years. I think Miami Heat LeBron probably couldn't back then in the lockout, but I think like Cleveland Cavaliers LeBron probably could play tight end. He's big enough.
And I think a young LeBron would be like Julio, but
Yeah, I can see it.
He'd be
young
like
LeBron
he'd
is
like
really skinny.
Yeah,
you got to remember that.
Yeah, I feel like, oh my God, if he was on the Cowboys and he played us, then that would have been
disgusting.
Ridiculous.
If LeBron James was running past Namni Asamoah as secondary
and absolutely just torch us.
Namni Asamoah. I used to play as that team on Madden. I had Madden 12 for years and years and years. That was my team. Used to run in circles with Mike Vick. It was great.
All right, so on to some. I don't even know. I think it was in like some Instagram post, and Michael Thomas and Devante Parker were like arguing. Michael Thomas said Devante Parker isn't even allowed at the table, which is just it's childish. It's unnecessary.
It's childish, and it's unnecessary.
Right. I mean, he's right.
But it's true.
Yeah.
He's a fine receiver. We love Devante Parker on this podcast.
Yeah.
He's a great receiver. But Michael Thomas is going to be a Hall of Famer right now if he ended his career right now. With the way he's been racking up receptions the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown led the league in receptions in 2016. Nobody but Michael Thomas has touched the top of the league since. And so I think, he has the right to say that. If Devante Parker is really going to come at him, I mean, like, he's the king of the wide receiver corp right now.
Yeah.
You can make an argument that he's the best between him and DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's a good argument.
Yeah, I think between him, Julio, and DeAndre, I think they're all gonna be in can one day. But
I think they're all definitely in.
I think unless
Julio, but the touchdown thing is just crazy.
As a two-time Julio fantasy owner, that I know how it is. And it was the past 2 years that I waited forever.
I know not to draft Julio.
I mean, he got so many receptions and yards, so that makes up for it.
I've never drafted him later than the second round.
Yeah, I got him in the second round, I think.
Yeah. Like, back of the second round, it's fine, just because he'll get you 1,200 yards. But please don't draft Julio in the first round. That's crazy. Right. Very bad idea.
I mean, I think the only way Devante Parker is at the table if Tua and him were like the next Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. Which is not going to happen.
I love Tua. I think he's going to change the league. But to be honest with you, I think 5 years from now, Devante Parker will not be a Miami Dolphin.
Yeah, he'll be somewhere else.
And so, I think that is not a realistic reality.
Yeah. All right. So I think this is probably one of the more talked about things lately.
Yeah.
So between the time we recorded our last episode and now, four NFL players have been arrested for being complete dumbasses. And ironically, 3 out of the 4 have been in the NFC East at some point. Quentin Dunbar was traded to Seattle from Washington, but Cody Latimer signed to the Redskins from the Giants. And
Cody Latimer, I didn't even realize was still in the league. I remember him getting drafted in Denver, and I remember never seeing him since.
Yeah. And DeAndre Baker. So in the final two that I'm talking about, DeAndre Baker and Ed Oliver were 2 first-round picks last year, which is insane. And they just completely messed their careers up, which is, I mean, I think the only person with a safe job right now is Ed Oliver, just because he's a top 10 pick and he's better than everybody else. But
I think Baker's safe. And honestly, I think Dunbar's iffy, but I think Baker, because of, wasn't he top 16?
He was like 18.
Pick?
I think they got him with the Odell pick, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I don't know how this is the first corner off the board.
I wish the best for all of these guys. I'd say 3 of these guys are legitimately
good
NFL
players.
not good, but NFL players with potential. Obviously, DeAndre Baker did not play a good NFL season last year. He got absolutely torched by the NFC East, but I liked him out of college a little bit. I think he had some potential. He wasn't my top corner, but Dunbar had a great year with the Redskins last year.
I really like him.
Great breakout year. So, I mean, it's disappointing. Mm-hmm. And Ed Oliver was the number 1 pick 2.5 years ago. I texted you after this came out. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, he was a monster coming out of Houston, and then he got a DWI with a gun, and he couldn't like do the walk thing that they make you do. He was in a Bills shirt, and it's like a terrible look, but
Yeah, I wish the best for these guys, but it's just
it's
a tough
what's the point?
Yeah, I think everybody's getting a little
I think the Baker and Dunbar thing is
quarantine.
Yeah, I think the Oliver thing is, I mean, it's dumb, but Baker and Dunbar turning themselves in for robbing someone when you're being paid I think Baker, since it was a first-round pick, is being paid a lot of money, and Dunbar I think he got an extension. He's making like $9 million.
Yeah.
Like a total next few years. Like, what's the point?
We wish the best for these guys, but this is
pathetic. It's pathetic.
Kind of crazy. Yeah.
All right. So you can go on the next one because I barely know anything about this.
So, right after we recorded our last podcast, or maybe even like a day before, but we didn't get to fit it in. Brett Brown had a press conference, coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, and he had some interesting news. He said Ben Simmons should be close to or ready to play when the 2020 season resumes, if it does resume, and that Simmons, after the game in Milwaukee, was throwing up in the locker room because of his back injury. And so, I mean, your thoughts on this, Ethan John? What the Sixers' chances if Simmons does return for the rest of the season?
I mean, it's obviously concerning, and I feel like there's just there's some general problem with our medical staff, like across all sports. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I mean, the Phils and
the Phillies, the Eagles in general.
The Eagles. I mean, that's been 3 years.
Oh my god!
I don't understand it. I mean, they drop like flies. It's got to be the conditioning. It can't even be the medical staff at this point.
No, they have to change whatever they're doing. I don't know why they're keeping this up.
Well, I read a story 2 years ago, to go into the Eagles, where after the Super Bowl, their medical director retired, and they hired a completely new staff, right? And then they fired all of them at the end of the season, and then hired a completely new staff. So it's not like it's been the same guys. They just don't know how to hire.
They're just incompetent, yeah.
Exactly. I love Jeff Lurie, but like, come on. We can't have this. But back to Ben Simmons. I think this Sixers team, I love them going into the season. And I think even if Ben Simmons plays, I don't know that we can trust that this team is going to be any better in the playoffs, because we've seen Ben Simmons consistently in the playoffs be just shut down by these teams that don't guard him from the 3-point line and guard him close in the paint and just shut him down.
Yeah.
And if Joel Embiid cannot take over, and Tobias Harris I still think he cannot be the third best player on your team if you're going to win a championship. I think he can't be part of that big three. Because, I mean, he's a great shot creator.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It just... Yeah.
You need to be so much more stacked in this current climate of the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously Al Horford is god-awful.
Oh my God. We could save it. We could save an entire episode just to
complain about Al Horford, honestly.
And Brett Brown. We could have a two-parter.
I'm a Brett Brown guy.
Oh my god.
I'm still a Brett Brown guy, Ethan John. I have been a Brett Brown guy. I stand by the fact that loss last year was not his fault. I think
it was not his fault, but
I think that was mostly a fluke. I think what he's done with this team has been god awful. Yeah. I agree with that, but I think you got to put part of that blame on Elton Brand too. I mean, you got to surround this team with shooters and not just stretch fours. Yeah, you know, and he hasn't done.
Yeah,
that.
I don't know why he thinks he can win a championship with big men.
Exactly.
So weird.
In a league where we are going small, he is going the exact opposite direction. He is being a boomer. Yeah. And that is not how you win a championship.
Yeah. And also, just how this team is just built right now just makes me miss, like, JJ Redick, so much. Like, oh my god.
I love JJ, bro. Yeah. I still listen. Shout out to the JJ Redick pod. I was listening to his episode the other day with Jimmy, and I was just tearing up. It was so sad. Yeah. Those are two of my guys. Yeah. It's awful. And obviously Jimmy's had his post Sixers comments, but I still love Jimmy. Yeah. Just the effort he puts in night and night out. Yeah. I admire that.
He was a perfect fit for the city.
He was a perfect fit. And the fact that we do that is just depressing, honestly.
Well, yeah, I think the problem with the Sixers is just their. I think going back to what Jimmy said, like, there is no leader. There is missing to be a team that if they knew what they're doing, they could be up there with the Torontos and Bostons, but now they're just like in the middle of the pack of the East.
Well, I think to an extent, everybody on that team needs to grow up. To an extent, Ben Simmons needs to get in the gym and learn how to shoot the ball. We've been saying this for years.
Yeah,
we got all these off-season reports saying, he knows how to shoot the ball. He's there now, and he took that 1-3, and now he's scared.
Yeah,
and so I think as fans too, we need to back off a little bit, because let him play it out.
Yeah, I genuinely think, like, if he incorporated his shot in, he would be a top.
Yeah,
he would be one of the best players in the league. He would be unstoppable because he has the passing ability. He has the ability to drive, and he
would literally be LeBron.
Yeah, he's a pretty good defender, and honestly, just with that, he just so scared, and it aggravates me so much because he's holding himself back from being one of the best players in the league, and it's just so. I don't know what's going through his head, honestly. I don't know if, like.
I don't either.
And just.
I think if he could shoot 30%.
Yeah, like
from 30, the 3-point line, 3%, and 50% from the floor.
That's he would be elite player.
That is an elite player. That is a top 10 NBA player, and that is the leader of this team that they need. I think Joel Embiid is fantastic, but his maturity is not there either.
Yeah.
Joel needs the ball in his hands. He's going to pout if he doesn't get it. He's going to eat his Chick-fil-A and drink his milkshakes and do what he wants to do, and he doesn't care. And I think Ben Simmons, to an extent, needs to step into that leadership role because I don't think Joe is changing.
Yeah.
I love Joe. We are a Joe-friendly podcast, but I don't think he's going to change. I think the player he is now is who he's going to be. That player has the potential to be an MVP.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. But I think his ceiling may have been reached.
Yeah.
By what we've seen.
Yeah, and I think an interesting thing too is do you think that if they inevitably fire Brett Brown, do you think that would do you think that would actually be a problem? I feel like at least one of the stars in the team would be like, I'm out, I'm done.
I think I mean, it seems like there's such a chemistry connection between him and Ben. I was reading that. What's the Bleacher Report reporter's name? He wrote a process book. It began with a Y. Yeah. Shout out to him though. But Brett Brown coached Ben Simmons' dad in Australia. So Brett Brown is like Ben Simmons' family friend. He's like a second father figure to him.
Yeah.
And so I think that could mess with the chemistry.
Yeah.
And to Joe too. I mean, Joe hasn't had a different coach since he got drafted. You saw how he reacted with Hinkie to Colangelo, and I mean Colangelo's different. Colangelo's a complete snake. But still, you gotta worry about that. And that's, I think, part of why they haven't fired him yet. I think that's part of why they didn't fire him after Toronto. I think the players advocated for Brett Brown. I think they legitimately love Brett Brown.
Yeah.
And I think, you don't want to cause a rift in that team. You don't. Yeah. There's already enough rifts, honestly. Mm-hmm. We love Philly sports.
Yeah. As much as it pains us, it's we still support them. Oh, right. So I think for any of the NHL news, I'm going to be the only person that knows it. So
yes, I would agree with that. All I know is gritty.
Yeah. So if the NHL decides to come back, probably without fans, but they plan to have a 2014 playoff, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's like March Madness, but like
I love March Madness. Would that be fun? Like,
it'll be so weird unless it's like a single elimination thing. It'll be so strange because as a guy, I was not at the beginning of the season. I was not that into hockey. I'm like, cool. We got Carter Hart going in. We got James Van Riemsdyk. We got Drew. We got Voracek. We got most of the squad, and then they started winning games. Like, okay, I mean, I was a big Flyers fan a few years ago, and then just kind of got out of it for a little bit. So, but now they're like genuine contenders, and just to see that team is just honestly out of the 4 teams, they're probably the best team right now, which is insane.
Really? You're telling me that they're better than our Birds?
They, as far as championship aspirations, that they have the best chance out of all 4 teams.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure they had the highest odds at some point, like a few weeks before the whole COVID thing happened.
I'm gonna have to start watching hockey, man. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can watch them all the games for free on like the NHL app.
So NHL Game Pass. I'm gonna hook myself up. Oh my god.
I think unless it's a single elimination thing, the playoff, it doesn't really matter. But if we see like Columbus going so far, or like a Toronto, would just be so strange, because I honestly think that I think for the East, Tampa, Boston, and Philly are all great teams. I think they all deserve an equal chance. But honestly, if the format's all messed up, it'll be honestly so infuriating considering how great this Flyers team has been, and honestly thinking that a virus stopped Philly from winning another championship is just so annoying. But
yeah, I mean, we can't help it.
Yeah, it's been.
I would love to be on Broad Street with Gritty.
Yeah, it's been like 50 years since we won a Stanley Cup, but it's fine. So
wasn't that was the Broad Street Boys?
Yeah, that was back to back in the early 70s.
Yup.
And they haven't done anything since, because they lost to the Blackhawks in like 2010. But whatever.
Oh God.
All right, so I think that's something to do with Philly. The next one, so
yeah, that leads us into our next one with Blake Snell.
So he was like on a live stream, and he said like he was like complaining about he's not being paid since obviously they're not going to get enough revenue from the season being shortened.
Yeah.
Blake Snell's mad that he can't get his full pay because he's risking his life, and that I don't know. I feel like if the MLB is going through with whatever they're playing, he should be fine. And considering that you're a Cy Young winner, you're being paid like $10 million this year. This is going back to like the Baker and the Dunbar thing. You're making so much money. You have like no reason to complain.
Yeah.
It's like insane.
But I think you got to see it from his perspective too. I mean, if MLB goes back, there's a chance that it's only in certain cities.
Yeah.
We talked about this last episode. The way Fauci said it was that they're all going to be quarantined. They're going to be away from their families.
Yeah.
They're going to be paid less than normal. It's going to be probably a more grueling schedule because, like, it's going to be games, like, every day away from home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, if I'm an MLB player, I'm probably iffy too, honestly. Yeah. I mean, and Bryce went on, he was streaming on Twitch and he said somebody had to say it. And I think I agree with them. I think there was always going to be some players that aren't going to play this season. Yeah. And I completely understand. I can see your perspective. I can see, you're a millionaire, you're getting paid tons of money. But
when he's saying
you're already a millionaire.
Yeah.
What's the point of that 0.01% risk that you could ruin your career? You skip a season, you're good. Yeah. Hopefully there's a vaccine. We work this all out. Mm-hmm. We're fine. And so I think that could cause a huge problem for Major League Baseball because, if Bryce Harper skips out, Blake Snell's a big name, but if Bryce Harper skips out, the MLB is pretty screwed over.
Yeah, I think Trout says something too, because he said like he doesn't want to be quarantined while he has like his first child or something, which I respect. So, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle on this, honestly, but I think player safety is definitely more important than I'm Blake Snell and being paid $10 million this year. I don't want to be paid $7 million. So like,
yeah, I can see that.
I think if the MLB goes through with you're quarantined in a hotel, you keep on getting tested, I think that's fine. But
I think his point was more towards that health thing, though.
Yeah,
I think it was less. I want to be paid $7 million, and more towards that health.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to be it for the pod for today. Thank you so much to Eighth and John being here with me. Thank you so much to everybody for listening, and we'll be back soon. Yeah.